Hello students, we are going to learn the topic regarding the hot working processes, so which I have taken from the subject that is a advanced workshop technology. So different processes include like a hot rolling process, extrusion process, the hot piercing, hot reeling process, and a hot spinning process, and hot drawing or a cupping process. So all these processes, the hot working processes, use the compressive stresses. Why? Because of where here the metals are the weak in tension at high temperature. So working on like hot temperature, where all these processes are taken into consideration for making the different sections or different shapes or like based on our requirement. We are working for the different applications. So we learn about the hot extrusion process. So where this majorly used to produce the long lens with the desired cross section, and here these long lens are produced where which is difficult by other processes, by any other process which cannot be done, so that it can be done by using this process like hot extrusion process. Okay, and what it includes, so what is the procedure including what is happening in a machine when this has to be done, like this hot extrusion process, compressing, we are whatever the metal, we have to compress the metal the inside of a chamber and applying some compressive force, so forcing that particular metal through a die by application of the pressure from the ram. So the process, if you observe, just it's look like squeezing the toothpaste out of a tube. Just you can assume with this the basic example what is happening. We're applying some pressure, like or on the material or on the toothpaste. What happens, the material which is present inside that chamber, that it will extrude out of the opening end. What are the open end is there, from that the material will get extruded out. So you can consider the opening of that particular mouth of the toothpaste, you can consider that as a die. So according to that shape, the material will come outside. Okay, so this is best suited for the non-ferrous alloys, where the non-ferrous alloys it can like it requires the low temperatures, whereas if you see like a ferrous alloys where it contains the iron part, if you want to heat them, it requires more the temperature to heat them. If you want to get that some heated billets to introduce into the chamber, we are placing in the chamber. So for that we have to give more the temperature, it has to be given to the ferrous alloys, whereas in non-ferrous alloys, so these materials will require the low temperature. So this is the best suitable one. So applying a little pressure, so we can get the extruded part out of from the die. Okay, and here you can have the line diagram of that, you can get understood. So this is what it includes, the elements which are contained in that. You can see the main thing, to apply the pressure on that material or whatever the metal we are choosing, that heated metal or the heated billet. The ram is essential here. So ram is inbuilt in the container. So the part you can see, so this is a container, and you can see that inside of the container or the chamber, The ram is there here, or you can take it like a plunger or a ram. So in between the here, after the ram, you can see the metal is placed here. It may be some like metal billet. You can see this black colored one, and at end of the container where it is open ended, but you can see there is a die, so which is like a open shell, like consider like some hollow a circular member. So whenever, so these are the parts. So it's a cylinder or the chamber or a container where it contains the inner part, the ram, and at the center after the ram you can see there is a heated billet or some metal which is a heated one. So that is pushed with the help of the ram. Whenever it is pushing, so it will be extruded out through this die. So it is coming like a some round circular rod which is coming through the die. According to the shape of the die, the material will come outside. So it is changing its shape. So already the heated material is placed inside the cylinder. So here not only the rods, the tubes can also be produced from these type of process, hot extrusion process. Whatever the material it may, like here consider like from aluminium the products are produced, you can consider as example. And not only the aluminium, like you can go for high temperature materials like stainless steels, some nickel based alloys, and also some high temperature materials also can be produced here in the form of some long length rods or tubes. So we'll learn for a while. You consider we are producing the rods, long length rods are produced. So just we observe the procedure, what is happening here. So this hot extrusion consisting of, first we are placing the heated billet in a container. Billet in the sense that just like the part of a material, it is chosen, it is taken out from the some long length whatever the material is there, you are taking like a billet forms. So that billet is heated and it is placed in the container or in the chamber, inside the chamber, right? After that you are forcing it through a die. By the application you are forcing it, we are applying some force. You can see the force you are applying in this direction with the help of the ram, that is pressurized or force is applied on the billet and through the die. So this is the die. So at the center of the die there is an opening, whatever the cross section it has, according to that cross section the material will come outside. So this is the extruded part. And here so one more diagram you can just for this a small portion of the billet, which is we are generally calling like called as a discard. Okay, a small portion of the billet, from the billet a small portion is taken, we are calling it as a discard. So it will remains in the container. Why? Because you see complete material will not come outside through this. Some of the material will remain along with the die here. So we are calling that as a discard, so that it can be removed along with the or together with the die. And one more thing here, you can observe one of the thing element here, that is a dummy block. So along with the ram, so there is a dummy block is provided here for like for just like for protection purpose. Why? Because these billets are very hot. So whenever it is making direct contact with the ram, so there is a chance of the material will get, it may get like it subject to some damage, or it may, the material may get eroded. So due to that some dummy block is used, which is very it can withstand, or it will resist that particular where it should have the thermal resistance. So those type of materials will made contact along with this RAM. So now see that billet material which is there, the hot billet material will make contact with the dummy block. It is not making directly contact with the RAM. So this is how we can protect the RAM face here. So this is regarding the hot extrusion, and discussing about the few things what you have learned. It has the advantage of the high reduction in cross section. Very high reductions in cross section can be taken place in this, and like surface finish and accuracy produced in this by this process is very good and excellent. And this is as what you have studied, that is best suited for non-ferrous alloys. For low temperature applications, we can extrude the part very smoothly and very easily with applying little amount of force or little amount of pressure over the RAM when we use the non-ferrous alloys. We can also go for producing steel, or steel can also be extruded here, but application of pressure it should be more. Okay. And one more thing is we can produce not only the solid type of sections or round bars or like that. We can also produce some hollow type of sections also. Not only the hollow type, we can produce any type of shapes. It depends on the die, what about die we are choosing there. So we can produce like that. Okay. And coming to some of the this is you can look the diagram where the different extrusions you can see here, like a rectangular or some square type of cross section, some circular type, or some railing type cross sections you can see here. So this is how the process is happening here. The metal may be produced in form of the granules, or some hotted billet is directly placed over here. You can see one of the end, the long length rods are coming outside through this extruded part. You can see here, just like that. You can take this principle. So after that, you can see the rod which is coming outside through this. So it is made contact with, it is moved into the cooling chamber to cool the extruded part, and along with the belt conveyor it is followed to the next process. Some of the advantages is what we have seen. So there is a large reduction we can see, or it can be achieved in this by this process. Different complex shapes, some difficult type of shapes can also be produced, and the forces involved in this are only the compressive force, in which you can see there the RAM, just like a pushing the RAM, the material is extruded outside. The material is coming through other side. Okay. And so it not possible with other methods expect extrusion, as what you have learned the first point in this class, like producing the long length bars with difficult cross sections. So they can be achieved by this process when compared with other process. Okay. And also here in this we can get the excellent dimensional tolerances can be maintained with good surface or with very high surface finish. Okay. And some of the limitations or some disadvantages you can go through this, as what you considered. The one thing as extrusion of steel requires the high pressure and temperature. So already we have discussed that. So it is a ferrous alloy where it requires the more temperature and more compressive force has to be applied. And so this process, it creates the inhomogeneous deformation conditions. It's not a like that. And heat generated, what happens, what are the for extruded part which is coming outside through that, there is a chance of some surface cracks may develop during the extrusion on the surface of the product which are extruded out. There is a generation of cracks can be observed on the surface of the extruded part. So there are a lot of chances are there, but they can be avoided. So these are the few of the limitations or disadvantages. And similarly, like some of the examples where the objects which are produced by this process, like tubes, rods, not only the tubes and rods, like different structural shapes can also be produced. It may like wheels, some fan blades, and some lead covered cables also, long lead covered cables, like telecom cables or some electric pole cables which are there. So they can be extruded by this process. We can use this hot extrusion process. Those are few of the examples. And the different methods of extrusion, like we have some 4 types of extrusion processes, like a direct or forward extrusion, indirect or backward extrusion, tube extrusion. The fourth one is impact extrusion. So just we have to get the idea about different methods. So the first one is the direct extrusion, or we can also call it as a forward extrusion. We just go through the diagram here. The same similarity you can observe, where it contains the element like it's a hot billet, where you can consider it as a the metal billet, which is a heated one, bringing into the plastic stage and placing in the container here, where you can see some a thick walled container is there to avoid any just like it will act like an insulated one, to avoid any heat exchange between the surface or surroundings and the inner hot billet. And the remaining you can observe there is a ram. So just like a forward maneuver, just you see in by using your right hand, you are moving to this left hand side, and also you observe how the extruded bar is also coming. It is also moving in the forward direction. The movement of the ram and the movement of the extruded bar, both are in the same direction or the forward direction. So since we are calling it as a direct or forward extrusion process. So by the application of the pressure which is applied on the ram, so we are forcing this hot billet which is placed inside the container. That hot billet, whenever the force is applied, the bar extruded, the bar is coming outside through this die. You can see the die here. At both the sides, the die is placed. So whatever the inner cross section is there, that is very important to us. According to that cross section, this hot billet is coming through this way to our required cross section. So this is how we are placing the die here. And here the die is not movable one, die is stationary, this container is stationary, and only the ram is moving here, through which extruded bar is coming outside through this. So these are the stationary one, die is the stationary, and container or this is the stationary one. So this is regarding the direct or forward extrusion. These are few of the statements. First, the metal billet is heated to some plastic state, where we can go through change of its shape. So which is this metal billet is placed in a container, and this is forced through die by pressure applied from the ram, and the container and die is stationary during this operation. So billet which is moving through the container, when applied the force from the ram, thus causing high frictional forces required for the use of high ram pressures. And here how we can identify that is a direct or forward extrusion. So both the ram and the extruded part, the product which is coming outside through the die, they are in the same directions. Okay, so these are the few of these statements regarding that. The second method of extrusion is the indirect or backward extrusion. You can go through this diagram. Again, the similarity, you can see the elements present in this diagram for indirect or backward extrusion. Why the name given for that? Just you have to get idea regarding that. The components included in this is the same. And what is the change in this is, see the direction of the ram. The ram used here is the hollow ram. The direction of the ram from right side, we are applying the pressure towards the left side. So the die is here, you can observe, that is integrated with the ram. So it means it is directly coupled or connected to the ram here, hollow ram. And you observe in the container there is a hot billet. So whenever you are pushing this ram towards from right to left, you can see the hot billet is coming through the die towards right. So there is a opposite direction. Ram is moving from right to left. Direct extrusion. The die is forced into the material here. You can observe the change when compared with the previous extrusion process, the direct or forward extrusion. Here in this indirect extrusion, the die is forced into the metal, so the product come outside, or the product emerges in the direction of completely opposite to the ram. The direction opposite to the ram, it will come outside. You can see at the, this is the extruded bar. You can observe in the diagram the ram along with the die, it is forcing in this direction, and the metal is emerging in this way. So completely opposite in direction. This is the hollow ram, and so this hollow ram, it allows the extruded part. It will allows through whatever the gap which is there in between this hollow ram. So the part will extrude through this gap and it will pass through it. So during this operation, so there is no relative motion between the billet, this one, whatever the hot billet is there is no relative motion between the billet and the container. And in this we have to eliminate the friction. So the wall friction is there, but that is not considered in this case. So the lower extrusion pressure is required when compared with the direct extrusion. In direct extrusion, for example, you are applying some pressure, and compared with that, this indirect extrusion requires the lower pressure for same reduction, or it means whatever the diameter you are producing, for the same diameter, for the same reduction of that cross section, pressure required in this process is very less when compared with the direct extrusion process. Okay, but size of that extruded part, that is it's limited to the inside diameter of the hollow ram. So that much only we can produce. Why? Because you see hollow ram, whatever the inner diameter is there, so that is a limited size where you can the product which is we are producing, so that much size only it can be produced. Okay, and so this is regarding the explanation about the indirect extrusion process. So these are few of the statements, you can go through that. So this is why we call it as an indirect extrusion. Completely the ram and ram direction and the extruded part which is coming through the hollow ram, both are in the opposite direction. So they are indirect, or you can also call it as a backward extrusion process. Okay, and next the third process in this extrusion, or the method of extrusion, that is a tube extrusion. So as that name, it will gives indication that like a tubes section, or a tube type of some cross sections, we can produce hollow type of cross sections can be produced by using this process. If you observe the line diagram of that, you can observe the same the components which are seen for the previous case. but you observe here, so there is a change. The diagram will similarly look like a direct extrusion process. What is the changes made in this, and what are extra element included in this is that is the mandrel. So mandrel is integrated with the ram. You see at one end of the ram, so it is having very long length a mandrel, just like a metal part is placed here. So that is projected into the die. So projected in at the center of the die, if you observe, so whenever the material present inside the container, so the process again the same. So the billet is forced between the die and the mandrel here. So with the help of the ram, whenever you are applying the pressure, the hot billet is forced in between the die and the mandrel. So the remaining part will come outside as a extruded part here. So how it will comes, the center there is a mandrel, right, and whatever the remaining portion, whenever the material is coming through outside this, it will look like a tube. Okay, it will look like a tube. And for this production process, this process is compared with other two processes what you have seen earlier, it is a little bit costlier. Expenditure for this is more when compared, or when you are producing some solid type of products. So tube extrusion process is a costlier one, but if you observe, it can produce not only the hollow type, like a variety of shapes can be produced that which cannot be done economically by any other process. Okay, you can observe the direction just like a direct form of ram in the same direction, and the extruded tube is in the same direction. Only the one thing is the metal part, one of the metal part we are calling it as a mandrel. So mandrel, it will gives the shape of inner section of the tube, whatever the required thing is there, so that it will gives the shape, so which is integrated to the ram, the face of the ram. So these are a few of the statements, you can go through that. So as mainly discussed about the main thing, that is a mandrel, where it is attached to the ram face. Okay, so the billet is, we are forcing in between the die and the mandrel, the whatever the part which is coming out through that, so that it is forming like a tube form of cross section you are getting as a extruded part. And for this some additional tooling is required, like mandrel we have to fixing to the ram face. Okay, so the last one is the impact extrusion process. So actually this will fall under the case of cold working process. It is basically a cold working process in which the metal will deform in the sense the metal, it will changes its shape, or it will flow due to the application of the force, due to application of the impact force. Due to high impact force, the change of metal deformation will take place to the required whatever the required shape is there. According to that, the shape will obtained, but the application of force is the impact force, more the impact. Okay, so this it may be, you can consider like as a cold working process. So it possesses like it can be done at room temperature. This extrusion process, this impact extrusion. Why? Because applying more the pressure. So when it needed means when the material is not heated, when we are doing the operation at the room temperatures. So during these room temperature applications, material is having, or it is possessing the ductility. The more the ductility is there, and the metal billet, the same the process, you can see here. So this is what the diagram. So this is the die where the blank is placed on the die, and with the help of the punch, or you can take just like a ram, so you're punching, or some sudden impact is made on the blank, or whatever the part you have to made, so that it can be made on the blank. So the required part, or the extruded part, will come outside like this. So this is how we are showing the high impact with the help of the ram we are using over the blank, and part will come outside according to the die what you have shaped here. You can take the example of this the process. You can see here. How the material, this is the necking process. You can observe where the material is entered it is very high impact force is applied, just like a bottle model. You can see the material is entering at the sides of the bottle. You can see here, okay, applying the very high impact force. Next one is the hot piercing. So this is used for producing the seamless tubes. Seamless tubes means just like where some of the tubes, it requires the joining process. Okay, where in this it doesn't require. So long length seamless tubes, some hollow type of sections can be produced. In some of the operations they will produce up to certain lengths only, then again the joining of tubes has to be takes place. So where in this process, if you use this hot piercing process, we can produce the seamless tubes. So endless tubes, just like no joining, you cannot see any joining on the these type of tubes. We are calling it as the seamless tubes. So for this, a small hole is made at the end of the heated billet. So just you can go through this diagram, line diagram, right? So this is what consider this is a solid billet. Long solid billet is there. At the end of the solid billet, we are placing a small hole, creating a small hole, and this solid billet is placed in between the two piercing rolls will be there. So double cone shaped, you can see like the shape of the roll, if you observe, just like a cone shape. So they are double cone shaped, rotating oblique, in oblique manner. It means just side by side, so one above the other, but they are not exactly placed one above the other. They are placed just slightly side by other. They are oblique, they are placed like oblique. Both are rotating in the same direction. If you are rotating clockwise, both the rolls are rotating in the clockwise direction. Now this solid billet is introduced in between these two rolls, where this action of these rolls so causes the billet to revolve about its own axis. So whenever it is introduced in between these two rolls, solid billet will also try to revolve about its own axis. It itself will rotate about its own axis, and during its rotation, if you introduce the mandrel through that small hole, what happens? The formation of tube will take place. Why? Because it is a hot billet. When you are applying the mandrel here, you can see at the right side the formation of tube is taking place here. So this is how you can produce the seamless tubes by this hot piercing process. Okay, and you can see the products or the materials which are used for piercing, the tubes which are produced, like material may choose like brass, copper, and we can also go for the ferrous material like steel, and some other materials like aluminum and various alloy materials are also can be chosen for producing these. If you want, requirement is a seamless tubes, you can go for this hot piercing process. Next one is the hot reeling process. It is also very similar to the piercing, where it has a special application that if you want to smooth out the surface of a tube, mostly it is used for making the surface of the tube, whatever the tube surface is there. If you want to make the tube surface smooth, generally we can go for this hot reeling process. It means the tube is already it is a hot heated one. Okay, and applying some rolling action over that, the rolls are there. Again the same, the mandrel is utilized here. So this tube is supported on the mandrel. Okay, and it is we are axially feeding between the two rolls. What happens, you can go through this diagram. Again the same, the process what you are seeing, but what happens in this case is the surface of the tube is getting smooth. You can see, observe that both the sides there are two rolls. This is one other view we can observe. In that hot piercing, the main condition is to produce the tubes, seamless tubes, by introducing the mandrel in between the solid billet by rotation of the rolls. So where you can produce the seamless tubes. Whereas in this hot reeling, main purpose is for smoothing the surface of the tube. You observe the second diagram here. There are two rollers which are rotating in the same direction. Here also the rollers are not placed one above the other. They are placed just a slightly, axis of both of them is slightly differed. It means they are placed oblique, slightly oblique. The combination of the squeezing and also the spinning also taking place. It means just like rotating, spinning as well as squeezing of the metal is taking place. During this what happens, slightly the diameter of the thickness, the tube diameter, the diameter of the tube may slightly get increases, and obviously what happens, the surface of the tube, it will get smooth. So this is the purpose of the hot reeling. Okay, like materials, again the same materials you can choose for that, smoothing the outer surface of a tube. It may be any material like steel, aluminum, alloy materials, brass, copper. So these materials can also be chosen for this process for smoothing the surface of a tube. Now next one is the hot spinning process. So this is a process of shaping the thin sheets. If you want to produce just like a sheet metal, in the sheet metal you can observe there are long length sheets which are made with some GI material, galvanized iron material. Just like that, the shaping of thin sheets by pressing them from the blanks. Already different thick materials are there. So from that, if you want to produce very slight like a thin gauge materials or thin gauge sheets, if your requirement, from the large thickness blanks are there, by when they are introduced or when they pressed against the rotating former is there. So the blank is held between the former and the adapter. So I will show the diagram here. So blank rotates with the former, you can see here. So the blank is held between the former, here you can see this is the former, okay, and this is the adapter. You can see here, this one, this is the former and this is the adapter, okay, and here the blank is held in between them. So the blank here it will rotates with the former. So a specially shaped tool, we are calling it as a blunt tool. Here you can see the tool. So this a special shaped tool is pressed against the blank. So we are pressing against the blank and slowly move to cover the former. So what happened, just whatever you can see these dotted lines, this is actually initial blank, how the blank is there. The next what you're doing with the help of this hand tool or a special made the blunt tool is there. So we are trying to press against the blank, and what happens, and slowly move to cover the former. Here we are having the former, we are moving and making it contact with the former. And here, so deformation of the metal, so the changing the shape of the metal, the deformation of the metal during the spinning, so during its rotation, you can see this, it is connected to the headstock, okay, so connected to the headstock where you are getting the spinning operation. So deformation of the metal during this rotation is due to the combined effect of bending and stretching. So bending is done due to the specially shaped tool we are using here, which we are pressing against the blank where the bending take place, and due to the spinning where the stretching is also take place. And this hot spinning process is suitable for shaping the ductile metals. Mostly it is suitable for ductile metals. So how the thickness of the metal is decreasing here, you can observe due to spinning action and also due to the bending action. You can see here we are bending with this a blunt tool is used, we are bending the sheet, and also the spinning action is also taking place. So combination of bending as well as the stretching. So this is how we are getting the thin sheets, and this is suitable for the materials like aluminum, copper, and the brass, and also it can also be suitable for mild steels also. So this is particularly, this hot spinning is used for making the components or to produce the components like reflectors, some lamp type of reflectors, or you know the cooking utensils. How you can observe this diagram. This is how the shape of the sheet, already initial blank is like flat, how the shape it is made like a cooking utensil, you can see here like U type of form. And also the thickness of the sheet is also getting reduced, thin sheets can be produced, like how we can utilize for making the cooking utensils. Funnels can also be produced, some containers can also be produced where you can using in some chemical plants like that. So those are the few applications under this hot spinning process. And similarly, the last one is that hot drawing or cupping process. It's very easy and important one, and in this process where producing the cup shaped articles from flat circular blanks, just like taking a blank sheet, you consider like a sheet type of form, or we can call it as a blank. We are taking the flat type of blanks, and here, and it should be a circular one. The cross section the section what you are cutting, it is a circular one. So this blank should be a heated one, and it is placed over the die. It should be placed over the die, and same as the process what you have seen in the previous cases, we are using the punch. With the, just like ram, we are using the punch. So that punch forces the metal through the die. On the die we are placing this hotted billet, the flat circular blank or the billet. So with the help of the punch, forcing the metal through a die, what happens here, it is forming a cup shaped article. Just you can go through this the line diagram. So this is the first diagram, what it is explaining the hot drawing. So this is a die, you can see this is a die, and at the center there is a hollow portion, you can see. So on that we are placing the one heated plate, which is a flat, the circular blank. So this is the punch in which the direction we are forcing over the heated plate. Okay, and you can see after how the cup formed shape, how they are producing here. So we are calling it drawing process or cupping process, where it is used to produce some tube type of tube form of shapes, or some thick walled cylinder type of articles if you want to produce. So this is a better suitable one. So whatever the requirement, the thickness is required, according to that the punches can be used here. So you can produce some thick walled cylinder type of cups can be produced here. So this is about the hot drawing process. So these are few of the examples, like I can go for producing seamless tubes and a thick walled cylinder, and cups can also be produced, or some vessels. Okay, so this is regarding the hot drawing or cupping process. So in this session we are learned about some hot working processes, like hot extrusion, and different methods of extrusion we have learned. In that, mainly four, that is a direct or forward extrusion, indirect or backward extrusion, tube extrusion, impact extrusion. And similarly we have learned about different hot processes, like hot working process, like hot piercing, reeling process, spinning process, hot drawing or cupping process. Okay, so hope you have understood and gained some information regarding how these hot materials are utilized to produce different shapes, like in the form of long length bars or rods, some like a tube sections, or producing some hollow type of sections by using different techniques in hot reeling, and smoothing the surface of the tubes, and also producing the utensils like cooking utensils, containers, by using the spinning process, and also like cups, producing the cup shapes by using the hot drawing or cupping process. So hope you got some information from this session, and in the next class we are going to learn about the cold working processes. Thank you.